Hey guys, I am Orlando and you are watching Sin City Cycling, and today we have the real star of our channel here, and that would be my Frankenstein SL6 build. It's a complete carbon fiber frame from Aliexpress. I have a 105 group set on it, and today, yeah, thank you. And today we are going to be adding some new cranks, 105 R7000 series cranks. As you know, I have mostly 105 on here now. I am unhappy with the Praxis cranks that we are using right now, so that's really why I wanted to get a less flexing type of crank. When you put power down on these, they tend to flex a little bit, and it's causing parts of the bottom bracket to become loose. So it makes a little bit of a clicking noise when I ride. I mean, it's not serious. Most press fit bottom brackets do click and creak and make all kinds of noise. But I really would rather have the Shimano cranks on here. As you guys know, on my Venge, I run Dura Ace 9100, and I love those cranks. They're beautiful. I love the way they look. And the 105 mirrors that look, just with a little bit more weight. So we're going to go ahead and remove these cranks and put the new ones on. So anyway, let's get started. Okay, some of the stuff I'm going to need. Bearing press, pretty self-explanatory. This proprietary Praxis bottom bracket tool, which is just BS. The amount of freaking proprietary stuff that you need to use for the Praxis cranks is just ridiculous. You have to use their bottom bracket. As we found out, there's two different sizes, 28 to 30 millimeter. The spline goes from small to big, so that requires their bottom bracket as well. And in order to install their bottom bracket, you need their priority tool, which is just bullshit. So anyway, I'm going to be happy to be rid of that bottom bracket and to be rid of those cranks. Obviously I need to remove the chain, so I got the chain tool ready for that. This is the new bottom bracket. It's from Wheels Manufacturing. It's exactly the same bottom bracket that I use on my Venge with my Dura Ace cranks. It's a good bottom bracket, still running good on that, and I have about 12 to, I don't know, let's go with 15,000 miles on the Venge. So I know that it's quality, and this cost about 80 bucks. I picked up the cranks. I got those for $1.99 off of Amazon. It was really kind of hard because almost everybody's out. So I had to do some searching, but I was able to get the size that I like, which is a 52-36. So that's what we're going with. You remove these cranks, you just have to loosen the set screw here, and then we should be able to tap them out. I like to hold the other crank arm as leverage. That way I got something to work against there. And the bolt stays in there, so it's not actually going to come out. Oh, more vehicles, Jesus. I think the count's up to 5 now. Maybe you guys can keep count there. Maybe we can have a game where we all take a shot every time one goes by. And these are an okay crank. Like I said, they came on my Venge, but I already had the Dura Ace cranks to put on from my old bike, my old Tarmac, and I much prefer those. All right, and with the opposite non-drive side arm, it should just come right out, which it does nicely. And there we have it, the Praxis crank. Like I said, it goes from 30 millimeters, or you can't see it, can you? So from 30 millimeters to 28. So it starts big and then goes smaller. I'm really not sure why they chose to do it that way, but I'm pretty sure Praxis makes SRAM as well, because I believe SRAM stuff, the GXP, does the exact same thing. And these Praxis cranks are actually lighter than the Dura Ace, but I'm trying to get them lighter. I believe they sacrifice too much material, and they do flex under power. And I do a lot of climbing out here in the mountains of Vegas, and I really don't like that flex. Okay. covers, and I believe non-drive side went in first, if I remember correctly. I'd probably have to actually look at the video. And then drive side screws into it. So I'm gonna have to remove the bottom bracket, and then if you guys saw the crank wobble fix video, I had to insert that plastic shell into here as well. So I'm kind of worried about having to remove the plastic shell. I'll probably have to loosen the cables for the derailleur. That's how I got it in there, so that's probably how I'll attempt to get it out. So, and this is the tool. It has two sides. One's for the non-drive and drive. And they were nice enough to insert a little holder for my socket wrench, so it actually fits on there. So, and then it said, let's see, 2 tightens, so it's regular thread on this side, and then the other side is pressed in. So I'll have to unscrew this side and then use my bearing removal tool to knock the other side out, which is not pleasant. Oh, that's nice. Not expecting it to come out so nicely. This is the part I don't like. This is the bearing removal tool. It gets inserted into the hole and is tapped to get the other press fitted piece of bottom bracket out of there. So I don't like having to do that because it makes a lot of scary noises and I'm afraid to break shit, but that's the only way that it comes out. So. Okay, I removed the bike from the rack to get better leverage, and I had to increase the width of my bottom bracket bearing removal tool, and there's a little lip on the inside of the bottom bracket which I was able to hit to get the core out. And you can see inside there, you can see how it's all marred up from the tool, but the tool grabs pretty much right there. And that's how it presses out. So, Shazam! Only took 30 minutes to remove that. Alright, so that is out. Now, I need to get this fucking shell out of here, which I'm not really sure how to do. Yeah, I think I might have to destroy this thing to get it out. I really don't see a way. Maybe these tools I can put it onto it. That looks pretty close. And maybe I can get it out the other side. Oh, it's coming, huh? All right. Okay, well that came out easier than I thought it would. I was definitely planning on that being difficult. Oh, wait. Whew. Alright, hold on. It's got some sharp ass grit on there, so I'm assuming that is the anti-seize stuff there. Alright. And there it is. Okay, now that I got the bottom bracket out of there, I'm going to bring you guys over so you can kind of see how the cable layup is here. I got my flashlight. Let me see so you don't have to see the glare. But you can see how the cables are routed through that little piece in there. Or maybe you can't. There, can you see? The cables go through that little J bracket. So that's why I had to loosen the cables to get to get that sleeve out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean these holes. I'm going to clean the inside, being really careful because there might be some loose carbon fiber in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and press in the new bottom bracket and hopefully have these installed today. I'm running out of time here, so this might be a two-parter. Anyway, let's get into it. So this is the new bottom bracket from Wheels. So I'm going to install it just like that Praxis one. So I'm going to assume, because there's no instructions that come with it, so. I'm going to assume that this side presses in first. Oh, and there is a little lip there for the bottom bracket removal tool. So this side's going to press in first, I assume. So I'll press that side in, and then this side will just screw into it. And then we have these little shims and bearing covers for when installing the cranks. Oh my hell. And then the Shimano bottom bracket tool fits on here nicely, so I'll be able to use that to install the other end. I wasn't sure if it was going to fit, but it will. I'm using fiber grip here. Hopefully that eliminates some of the creaking and allow us to install a little bit easier. I was going to use bearing grease, but I'm pretty sure this is what I used last time. So there's no reason to change things. I have the bearing press hooked up. The cup on the other side was the wrong size to fit over this without damaging the bearing. So what I did was I attached a socket so I could use the socket to push it. That way it's not pushing on the actual bearing. So this is similar to how I installed the press fit bottom bearing bracket on the Praxis setup. So I know that it works. So that's what we're going to do. All right, let's do this. All right, that feels pretty easy. All right, and that is that. All right. That is our one side. Okay, let me remove this crazy setup I got going on here and I'll install the other side. Thank God for large sockets. So as you see, I use the flat part here to push against the outside of the bearing cup. So it was pushing against the outside instead of the actual bearing. So if I would have used the piece that came with the bearing press, it would have damaged the bearing. So that's why I used the socket. So you just got to kind of be flexible sometimes, and that way you can work around whatever issues you got going on. Now I have the Shimano bottom bracket tool. Alright, and that is that. That is our bottom bracket. Yeah. Woo, man, those are pretty. Okay, there's the cap. Check those out. Oh, looks like I already got grease on them. Son of a bitch. Okay, so one of you. Spare cap over the bearing. Alright. Dude, I could have swore I ordered 172.5. Okay. This is day 2, which has actually been about a week. I had to return and reorder the cranks. The last ones that I bought, even though they said they were standard, they came and they were 170 millimeters, and I ride 172.5. Whereas that 2.5 millimeters really isn't that much. I didn't want to make a change. I'm not a big fan of change on my bike. Seat height's the same, crank length, that type of thing. I'm really not into change. So we do have the replacements. I did get them from eBay. They cost about $10 cheaper, so they didn't come in the actual box, but I don't see that they've been used before. You can usually tell if a chain has been on them, and I don't see any chain marks. So I'm just going to go ahead and install these. I have this little area right here on the bike as well. I don't know if you guys can see. Don't mind me. Usually there is a guard here. You can see some damage here from my chain dropping down here. I have some, what do you call it? Some clear plastic that's for frames. So I think I'm going to cut a small piece and try and apply it to this little area here before I put the cranks on. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm just going to cut a small piece of this and fit it to this area, so if the chain does drop down there again, it doesn't do any damage. And this is a soapy water and alcohol mix. It's supposed to help with the adhesion of this stuff, so let's see if it's more of a hindrance than anything. Never actually tried to apply it yet. Right. Better than I thought it would. Okay, well now that area has at least got a small coating of that clear plastic to protect it. I also have a coat here where the chain could slap to protect that area of the frame as well. So we'll see how long that stays on. But I meant to do this before the damage happened, but the damage happened and it's too late now. Those are the shims. Okay, ready for the final installation here of the other crank arm. And compression cap. Make sure that's straight up and down. And I'm sure I said this in the last segment, but do not over tighten this sucker. Looks like it's moving well. Okay, that's down. You can torque these if you want. I just don't. I've done so many of these installations, I kind of just know how it feels when it's right. But if you do need to torque, the torque settings are on the arm here. Okay, off camera I went ahead and set up and tuned the cables. I've done it so many times on film, I didn't think you guys needed to see that again. But to wrap things up, we just installed R7105 cranks to our Aliexpress carbon fiber bike. Right now the total cost is probably close to $1,300, $1,400, and that's including what the rims and the group set would have cost me on top of what the frame did. That's not counting any of the hours that I've put into this thing. So as a wrap up, we have R7000 derailleur in the back, 11-speed. We just installed the R7000 105 crankset. I have R7001 dual mount caliper brakes. Also on the front, the same 105 R7000. We have 105 5800 series shifters on the front, and there's really not that much of a difference in between these and the new R7000, except for the hood shape. And the hoods actually have like a checkerboard pattern here to give you better grip, but they're still 11 speed, so I really didn't see a need to replace these parts. And same with the front derailleur as well. There really isn't that much of a difference between R7000 and 5800 series, which is the previous generation's 105. So it's kind of a mix of half and half this generation, half last. But as you can see, everything's functioning. It's all tuned up and ready to go. I'm going to take it on its first ride tomorrow. As you guys know, this has been a project bike for us for quite some time. It is literally the star of our channel. This bike gets the most views out of anything else that we do on this channel, so I always appreciate the fact that you guys stop in to check out this bike. And I thought it would be kind of cool to take you guys along for the crank upgrade and to let you guys see how everything is going with the bike. Like I said before, I'm just under 5,000 miles on the bike, and everything's been working and functioning properly. The one thing that I didn't like was the Praxis cranks. You guys saw the problems that we had with that, with the crank wobble, and figuring out that you have to use their proprietary bottom bracket. But everything else is functioning good. I'm going to take it out tomorrow and beat the shit out of it. So we will see how well everything holds up. Hopefully my work stands the test. If there is any issues and anything else that gets broken, you can bet that I'll be taking you guys along with. But as always, this is the Aliexpress Frankenstein build. I am Orlando. You are watching Sin City Cycling, and then always, peace.